Hi guys, and welcome to a bit of a trial. We've had a few technical issues. Sorry for the delay there, but
My fault,
ultimately
sorry.
it's working. It's working. We've trialed this before, but never with this overlay. So thank you for being the guinea pig in the live stream test. I suppose this is the first proper one that hopefully will be staying on the channel. And as the title suggests, it's about people who can't charge at home. I mean, I have an electric car. I can charge at home. It's very easy. It's the thing that most people particularly say, oh, they'll just charge at home. It's easier. But the person I'm talking to, I'm not sure if you want to, shall I call you Eleanor, or she's electric?
Keep it short. Go for it, Belle.
Yeah, Elle. We'll go for that. You'll probably know her if you're on Twitter with your She's Electric Twitter tag. You're on there. You're quite prolific on the old Twitter there, but
Get in there.
yes. So basically, the reason why you're here is because you don't charge at home. You can't charge at home. Is that right?
Well, I stay in a flat in sunny Dundee, and I am fortunate to have an allocated parking space. So when I was looking at getting an electric car, I did look into getting a home charger. And I had a couple of different people come and eye up my parking space from a couple of installation companies. We do have lighting in the car park, so I thought, oh, there's power there, that we might be able to do something. One company said, yeah, it shouldn't be a problem to put it into the lighting system. And then another company came out and said, I wouldn't touch that. It's not going to support the power that we need. But also, although I've got my own parking space, it's across the car park from my building, so the length of cable to go out was going to cost an absolute fortune. So I thought, well, we'll just see how we get on.
Well, yeah.
All right.
Well, yeah. I mean, my parents are in a very similar situation. They have a parking bay in a flat, so and even though they're quite close, it just seems a lot of hassle. So, did you think about that before you got the car? Did you get the car before you thought about the
I
problem?
kind of just presumed I'd be able to get one. That's probably a bit naive of me. I think when I was like, well, I've got a parking space and there's power to the car park, there must be a way. And as it turns out, there would be a way, but a very expensive way. And also I'd have to get permission from all the other flat holders and things. So it was just going to turn into a logistical nightmare in general. So I just thought, looks like I'm going to be able to charge in and around Dundee, and I can always revisit it if I really, really have to. But let's see how I get on, and I've not looked back since.
Well, yeah. I mean, how long have you had one now? An EV, of course.
2.5 years.
2.5 years. So it's been quite a long time. It's not like you've just got the thing. So you've proven to an extent. I mean, there are circumstances we'll come to in a minute which probably help out, as in where you live. But why did you choose to go for well, you're going for a Leaf, but an electric car in general? I've a feeling from speaking on to your brother that he's something to do with it, or
my cousin.
Your cousin, sorry.
Ewan 106 Ewan on Twitter, who is a massive EV advocate and is in the industry, working currently for a company called Decozy that do all fancy things with batteries for electric cars. And 2.5 years ago, I was driving about in a 2-litre diesel Qashqai that the end of my PCP was coming up. And through some emotional blackmail from Ewan, I started test driving a couple of different electric cars, and especially living in Dundee, I kept seeing these charging points popping up, and ones at my work, and I thought, yeah, I could possibly do this.
So you can charge at work then?
Yeah, no, that's made a huge difference.
That's probably a big bonus. I mean, can you tell us a bit about Dundee? Because it does seem to be, well, significantly ahead of most towns and cities in terms of charging infrastructure. I mean, I have nothing nearby. Literally, no fast, no slow, no rapid, nothing at all. So, obviously, Dundee seem to be going nuts almost, really, in terms of charge points. They've got the hubs now.
Well, no, they're fantastic. We've got a really, really enthusiastic and pro electric car council in Dundee that have been so proactive. Even before the hubs, I think there's at least 20 places that you can charge across the city, as it is at the moment. And Dundee's quite a compact city. You could probably get from one side to the other in about 20 minutes to half an hour. So we're quite compact. But one of the big things was as well that one of our local taxi companies really got on board as well. And they were one of the first, I'm guessing, in the country, possibly across Europe, to install their own hub where they put 5 rapids in themselves. As I said, there's ones that are all over the city, and they've had the vision to start installing the charging hubs. The first one's open already. You might have seen some pictures online of that. That's in Lochee, which is about 15 minutes away from my flat. But there's another 2 planned. One is literally a stone's throw away that's going to have 6 rapids in it, and one in the next town up from Dundee that's still under the Dundee Council, a little town called Broughty Ferry, that there's going to be another hub. But a big part to play in it is the council themselves have a vast fleet of electric cars. The University of Dundee have quite a few charging points, and those are the ones that I use at my work. And also the NHS in Tayside have got quite a few EVs running about, and the large hospital in Dundee, Nine Wells, there's a rapid charger there, and there's some fast chargers as well. So a combination of the council, the NHS, the universities, and now local businesses. There's quite a few vans. You see some ENB 200s bombing about the town for some local companies. So it's gradually snowballing that more and more people are realising that EVs are the way forward.
So I presume there's a lot of private people kind of, because the infrastructure is there, so has that encouraged uptake, do you think, of the actual cars in Dundee, or is it just, it's obviously helped, but has it made people think of them? Because I mean, you thought of one because you saw the charge points in part. Does that make a difference, do you think?
Oh no, definitely. And I think as well, the fact that we're coming up to 90 electric taxis in Dundee, so lots of people on a daily basis are either it's their run to school, run to work, or whatever, they're experiencing being an electric car, or whether somebody through their work at the university or the NHS drives an EV, for them they might be like, oh, I could actually run one of these myself as well. So I think it's just bringing them to the public forefront, because I said, if you just drive into the city centre, within a couple of minutes quite a few different electric cars will whiz past you. So I think it's really in the forefront for the people of Dundee it's becoming a normality now, really.
It seems to be a bit of a Scottish thing as well. I mean, I've recently come back from the North Coast 500, and in Inverness I saw quite a few electric buses. Going around Inverness. Do they have the buses there as well?
Yeah, are they fully electric or are they hybrid ones?
They've just emblazoned with it's electric. I think, as far as I know, they're full electric, and I would say about a third of the buses were.
Fantastic.
So there's definitely a barrier there between Scotland seems to be embracing it a lot more, certainly than England, and definitely than Wales. So which is a good thing, because hopefully it's proven that it's easily doable. So the next question, I guess, is if you had to move, I'll say outside of Scotland, and you couldn't, if you had to move, dare I say it, over the border or down south, I'll say Scotland, Edinburgh. If you had to move to Edinburgh and you didn't have off-road parking, could you still survive, do you think?
I think it'd be a lot more difficult. Edinburgh is playing catch up at the moment, and before I've only been in Dundee 5.5, coming up 6 years, and I was staying in the West End of Glasgow before I moved through. And I think even now I would probably be struggling. It wouldn't be anywhere near as easy as it is for me in Dundee. So a lot of the infrastructure is coming, but again, the bigger cities and whatnot, I don't think it would be quite as easy as I have it at the moment, until the infrastructure is a bit more widespread and there's a lot more of offices and businesses putting in charging points for their employees. I think that's going to be a huge thing for people's uptake, because that doubles your commute. You might have a shorter range EV, but if you can charge at your work, that doubles your range.
Yeah, of course.
So it's so important, and at the end of the day, it doesn't always need to be. It doesn't need to be rapid chargers or even fast chargers. If you got a row of 3-pin plugs, most people by the end of a working day, you would have enough charged to get home.
Yeah, so I guess we kind of stumbled on the key then for people that don't have off-road parking. It is literally the local infrastructure. Work would be a key point, but if you, after 2.5 years of not being able to do this at home, can survive, but you couldn't somewhere else, I guess in a lot of places like where I am now, if I didn't have a drive, I literally couldn't survive one. So I suppose it's the council. Do you know if the council came before the private sector in Dundee? You know, was there who was responsible for the start of it, do you think?
I think, to be fair, they've really been working hand in hand with each other. I think there's been a lot of working together to create what they've got at the moment. I would need to kind of I think things like the university were really quite early adopters and things like that. When I first came to Dundee, those were some of the first points that I'd seen about Dundee. But as I said, I think it's been a little bit of both, kind of simultaneously and kind of forward. And they all work very closely together.
Now there seems to be there's a grant now, I believe. Certainly, I think it's in Scotland as well, a government grant which helps councils pay for on-road parking.
Yeah.
So do you know much about that? Or
I think it's an OLEV grant that apparently they'll pay 75% towards the charger, and the council have to chip in the last quarter for that. And I know there was some big grants going around that the Dundee caught quite a reasonable slice of. I think they were the only Scottish city when there was a big bid that went in. But I know, and there's trying to remember which manufacturer it is, that again on their website you can go in and kind of almost request one in your area as well. So I think they're looking for people to let them know where points are needed. And as well, I know there's some companies putting in the lamppost chargers, which I think look like a great idea. I think there's a lot of them in Oxford and kind of Kensington area in London and whatnot.
Ubitricity, I believe they're called, is it? Yeah. I mean, so there's a myriad of options basically. But ultimately, I think for I won't say mass adoption, but for more people to do it, we're going to need the council on board first and foremost.
Definitely, because I think it's at least a third of car owners don't have a driveway or off-road parking, so that's a lot of people to accommodate. But I think as well as the home charging and things like that, I think car sharing and things like that's going to be a big thing of the future as well. That the majority of us, our cars are sitting there not doing very much for most of the day. And also, I'm sure they're elsewhere, but some of the charging points in Dundee are shared with, I think it's Co-Wheels Car Club, the charging point that I use regularly. There's a Zoe sits on that you can hire and run about. So for people that the reality of running a car every single day that they don't need to, they can easily hire one of these ones. And I think they're a lot cheaper to run than the equivalent petrol or diesel car from Co-Wheels Car Club. I don't think they obviously don't have to pay anything in fuel, so that's another incentive for again people getting behind the wheel of an EV potentially for the first time.
So was your reason, other than blackmail from your cousin, was there was it an ecological decision, or was there a financial? I mean, I got one primarily, the one that made me go for that was because I do a lot of miles and it'll save me a lot of money. It was a financial decision firstly for me, and then it's the ultimate IT gadget toys in an electric car. So there's a lot of appeal there, but was yours an ecological one first and foremost? And there's usually several reasons, isn't there, because it has to fit.
Yeah, no, definitely. It was definitely ecological for me first of all, but then I knew I'd be saving some money, but I didn't realise how much I would actually be saving, which is, at the moment my Leaf has done just about 23,000 miles, and because most of the charging in Scotland is free, I know charging to charge will come, and I'm more than happy to pay when it does, but I've still spent less than £10 on charging so far in 2.5 years. So
yeah, we don't get free charging. It's there's definitely a difference. This is the thing. Scotland seems to be where I think when I say we, England needs to be, and Wales especially. There's a lot of people on the comments saying Wales is just a total black hole in terms of charges and that. So it's obviously kind of coming from above. Someone at Dundee has obviously decided that before they've become semi-mainstream, and pushed it. Obviously, the university has done sort of some similar sort of stuff. I mean, could you survive without charging at work? Is there enough infrastructure there for that?
Definitely when the hub opens close by to me, I think that's going to open the opportunity for electric cars wide open for the area I stay in, Dundee. There's a lot of flats, older style, kind of Victorian built flats with no parking and things like that. So there's a lot of people, and there's quite a few high rises in Dundee as well. That home charging is just never really going to be a possibility. But the things that the hub's coming in, whether you leave the car for a couple of hours or you come home and have a quick boost on the rapid, that's going to definitely make a huge difference across the city for these opening.
Have you ever come a cropper, as it were, with not being able to charge? You know, the university's offline or something, or have you ever been stuck? What be negative now in terms of EV driving, because everyone always thinks that we soft pedal the truth when it comes to pushing EVs. So if someone said, right, what are the worst parts about not being able to charge at home? That's really affected your kind of lifestyle, I suppose.
Yeah, I would say that I'm probably a bit more cautious than somebody that does have a home charger, because if I've been on a longer run and I'm heading home, I know I'm not coming home to a charge that I'll then need to charge it at work the next day, so I need to leave a bigger cushion on what I've got left range-wise. Or if I've come home from a long journey and then I need to go out later that day, I need to then plan into that day. I need to go to one of the rapids to be able to go out again. Or if I am doing a longer journey, I will the night before. If I'm really needing to be up to 100%, I'll have to make plans the day before, whether I go to work or do something in town or go to the gym, and make sure I'm at 100%. So I've got maximised. Whereas people with home chargers, if they've got the luxury of, I need a full tank tomorrow, plug it in, and they're fine. So I probably need a little bit more planning than somebody with a home charger, and it's made me just generally a little bit more cautious to make sure I've got enough juice to get me home and then onto another charger if needs be.
So
I've not been in turtle mode just yet. I've been close. I've been to the dashes. I've never actually gone into full-blown turtle mode.
Yes, I never ran out if I by choice or otherwise. It's usually, like you say, a planning issue or a faulty charger. But obviously, when you've got dozens of chargers, it seems near you, it's not. I guess you've got lots of plan Bs, Cs, and Ds.
Yeah, I'm fortunate that way. Yeah.
So it's down to the infrastructure again. So I suppose that is ultimately the key to lack of off-road car, the infrastructure, which is down to the council and various private people. And if you did move, you potentially have to give up your car, presumably, or the Leaf anyway.
Or we are looking to move it at some point, and it would be to a house with a home charger, so we would then have that ourselves. Because ideally, I would love to have one, but I'm just worked round about it. So it depends where we're moving to. But then I think a lot of these worries will go away as our batteries are getting bigger. If you've got even the new 40 kilowatt Leaf, for what I'm doing, I probably only need to charge once, twice a week. Because I'm just on a 24 kilowatt Leaf at the moment, so I will need to plug it in a couple of times a week. But for the majority of people, I think the average commute is about 20 miles, if that. So for most people, they could do home and back a good couple of times in a week without having to charge. So as I said, it's just going to get easier and easier as the battery capacities increase, that there's going to be less demand and going longer between charges.
Yeah, I mean, when I went from the 24 to the 30, just for that little bit of extra, it made a huge difference. Because sometimes, because I come home from work, my wife goes to work, so because work at different times, so we both use the car for commuting. And there'd be times where I'd do too many miles because I go all over the place, and she'd have to take the other car. Whereas with the 30, that almost never happens, even in winter.
Yeah, just that extra
just that extra, 20, 25 miles or so has made a huge difference. So with the 40, I don't think it'd ever happen. So like you say, the bigger that gets. I mean, if you're at 2.5 years, I'm guessing you had a 3-year deal. Is there a plans to replace the Leaf or keep it?
Weighing up my options at the moment because I know the back orders for even the 40 kilowatt Leaf are running into October from what some people are saying on social media. So I'll need to have a little bit of a think, but I am also possibly keen potentially to buy my Leaf outright and keep it because it does the majority of my day-to-day needs. It's quite rare that I do a long commute, but it would be nice. I am eyeing up possibly the 60 kilowatt when it comes out, but it just depends what that gap's going to be between my PCP running out and that car being available to order. So we'll just have to wait and see.
Well, yeah, mine's up in a couple of months, and
is it?
Yeah, and although that was a 2-year deal, but the for me the price, the residual values of the cars is way better than I think anyone thought. The guaranteed future value was always seen as a bit of a joke, really, to make it cheaper. But my car will be worth actually a fair bit more than the guaranteed future value, and I always assumed it'd be the other way around.
That's what everyone was kind of telling you at the time. Hence why a lot of us went into PCP rather than buying the cars outright. But it seems like a great market, the second hand, especially the 30 kilowatts are really holding their value at the moment.
Yeah. I've obviously done a bit of looking because, as you say, there's such a long lead time, and I mean, the Ioniq is up to a year. The e-Golf is about the same, I think. The Kia Soul, well, the nearest fourth Kia dealerships to me don't even sell it. And what else have we got? The Ioniq again. I think that's 9 to 12 months. So it kind of only leaves the Leaf, the new Leaf, as an option just to be able to get one for when that ends. So I think realistically, keeping this car, even if it's just for a few months or more, and then selling it, hopefully until my Model 3 arrives, of course.
You got a deposit down.
First day reservation, yes. Oh, just over 2 years. I put I gave £1,000 away 2 years ago on a car that's probably about that before it turns up. Even assuming I can afford it, I mean, it's kind of bonkers, really. But who knows? I think I'll be keeping the 30 Leaf because if someone said to me, "What car should I buy now?" I think a used 30 kilowatt hour Leaf 6.6 is the best value by far. It's got enough range for most. The 40 is not a big jump, and I think the 60 will be a significant jump up in cost.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'll be waiting for the price point for that, and I don't think there'll be any cheeky deals to be had on them. Just
there were a lot of cheap PCP deals going out there on the Leafs originally.
Yeah,
definitely. Probably to get people into them, I suppose, because they were still very
new. That was the thing.
So yeah, I mean, is the Leaf your only car in the household, or is the?
I always joke that I have 1.5 cars. A friend and I share. Obviously, it's my dirty secret as well. Have a Kia Sorento that we use to tow a horse box because the Leaf can't quite tow a horse box. So I don't think that there's any EV on the market. I know the Model S's, I've seen them towing caravans, but there's a difference between a caravan and 1.5 tons of horse in the back. So unfortunately, the dirty diesel comes out when the horses have got somewhere they need to go. So I do have that for backups, but it's a once a week run. I always feel a bit guilty doing it, but just got to keep it ticking over.
Well, yes. I mean, can the horse not take itself there? Is that not the idea?
Wants to tow the Leaf.
Yeah. You should get the horse to tow the Leaf in regen mode and see how much you can gain. That'd be interesting.
Have home charger if I do that. Just get the horse to take the Leaf and walk.
There you go. You'd be horse fed. Well. We've got about 5 minutes, guys, so if anybody on the chat wants to ask either of us, mainly, a question, please do so. Mainly it's just people complaining about their local charging infrastructure or lack thereof. Definitely, you seem to be in a unique position in terms of what's available, as we've said. So I think... how far away do you think the UK is from anyone being able to pretty much buy one without off-road parking? I mean, 10, 15 years seems a bit of a stretch even now, to be honest, because councils aren't jumping on it. A lot of councils, anyway, are jumping onto this. For me.
Well, I think I was at a meeting the other week down in London, and they were all discussing this automated and electric vehicles bill that's going to be going through the House of Lords soon. So I think a lot of councils are probably going to be forced into it, whether they want to or not, and also with all the different cut-off years for emissions and things like that, they're going to have to as well. But as well as the councils, I think all the other private suppliers and things, there's going to be an increasing market for it, and money always drives these things. So if there's going to be demand for it, but it's just getting everybody singing from the same hymn sheet, having strategically placed chargers and things like that. But I said a big part of it is, I think home charging is important and highway charging is important, but for me, I think the biggest thing which has opened driving an EV's door to me has really been the workplace charger. I think that's something, and I think there are OLEV grants for businesses, but it's just really getting that message out there to businesses that they could be installing them. So I'm not sure whether that would come from the government or the councils, or again employees kind of putting their managers and things like that in the right direction, encouraging that. Because I think as well, you see one person at work plugging in, that starts a conversation, other people see that and sharing their experiences. In the short time that I've been in Dundee, there used to just be a couple of Leafs using the points, but you just see more and more electric cars. And also we're really lucky as well that we can obviously use the chargers, but the council have made it free to park in our council-owned parking car parks. So people are going, awesome, I can come and park for free. One of the girls at my work has got a 24 kilowatt Leaf second hand. She's saving £9.80 a day in parking alone because she's parking for free. I think, again, people get begrudge putting money in the meter every day if you can just swan in and park, not even having to charge. And incentives like that are really going to drive things forward.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. I'm about £160-70 a month in fuel costs alone, because I do about 20,000 a year. So like I say, the financial, and that's how I always try and go down the financial incentive route when talking to someone, because if you start going on about ecology and anything, people just think you might be preaching. So if you can save money, that makes people listen, like you say. But there has been a few people I've spoke to that can charge at work who have had a bit of resistance from other employees saying, "No, hang on a minute, they're getting free fuel from work. That's not fair. Can you not give me free petrol, Mr. Employer?" You know, has there been anything like that at the university from people complaining that you're getting something for free? Do you have to pay for that, or is it taken from your wage?
No, I've not had anybody kind of have any moans and groans. If anything, they've been like, "Oh, okay, she's maybe onto something with this." So there's a lot more people definitely thinking about it. But I've been fortunate; I've not had too much negativity from anyone, and they're again quite good at policing the spaces. If somebody's parked at one of the chargers in the multi-storey, that they'll soon have a ticket on their dashboard, which is always quite. So
they are actually policed in Dundee as a whole.
The parking wardens, to park at the university anyway, you need to have a permit for where their multi-storey is. So there's normally somebody coming around checking them, and the guys are quite switched on, so they know what cars are normally the electric ones.
What about in Dundee as a whole, for the public chargers? Are they sometimes blocked, or are they looked after by the wardens?
Yeah, I have seen them occasionally, but again, I have seen the wardens putting tickets on them, so they're pretty wise to it all as well. So that soon discourages people if they get a ticket for blocking the space. So, but again, I'm again in a very fortunate position that if one's blocked, I know there's one 5 minutes away if I need to. So, it's quite a nice setup. So it's just really getting other councils to kind of follow by example and see what can be done.
Well, yeah, I suppose. I mean, I've spoke to North Yorkshire County Council, so geographically a very large one, and they basically said there's nothing wrong with our air quality. We have no intention of doing this at this time, even though there are several cities that go under the level that's recorded, and it's literally just the private sector we've got to rely on. It's obviously it's quite spread out as North Yorkshire. There's lots of little towns and villages everywhere, but ultimately there's no council backing, and there doesn't seem to. Even the only Green councillor in my area, which is Craven, he said that he's almost given up pushing it in the council, and he's a councillor. So I guess it's maybe they don't see the incentive. All they see is that money's going out by paying for charges, and they may even be losing money on making parking free. I mean, Leeds, for example, is pretty shocking in terms of charges, but they've made it free for anyone with an electric car to park in the council car park. So, like I say, that alone could be enough for someone to at least look into one, and it's costing them practically nothing. There's no outlay there. So there's things that could be done ultimately, I suppose, isn't there, that don't involve the council spending thousands.
Yeah, no, definitely.
It's just
it's just getting somebody to listen to you at the end of the day and take it seriously. It's just falling on deaf ears. You feel like you're banging your head up.
I mean,
but if there's enough people getting on at them, it'll get there. But I think the powers from above are going to be forcing them to over the next few while. So hopefully we'll see some more positive movements, a bit more locally yourselves. But again, if the private sector can help drive that forward as well.
Or maybe the like you said, a central government mandate to tell them to, because it obviously works. I never really had an idea of how it'd work as how a council could make people buy, but obviously Dundee have proven. You just put them in there, and as I say, make it, and they will come. It does seem to work quite effectively.
Yeah, no, it's really exciting to be a part of, and just to see it all kind of grow round about. But because by no means am I that early an adopter, but in the couple of years I've been driving, it's just getting more and more prevalent. As I said, the drives I do on a daily basis, it's not uncommon to have every other car, especially at rush hour with the taxis being electric. So it'll be nice if that can be the case across the country.
Well, we've had just a few questions, but mainly one of them was, did you enjoy your stint in a Tesla? I'm guessing you had one for a while.
Oh yes, I've had a couple of goes in a Tesla, but this time last year I was treated to for the weekend it was our anniversary weekend that my husband Stephen surprised me by hiring a Model S from White Car.
I've had one myself. In fact, it was the exact same one that you had a year ago, same registration, which we took up to the North Coast 500. I go there quite often. So yeah.
So that was very nice, and I'm possibly getting to help drive a Tesla back home from fully charged live. John is very kindly going to possibly give me a wee lift. I don't know if you saw on Twitter today, I got a go in his Twizy, and he brought his Twizy over to Dundee, so I had a shot in the Twizy, but he's going to be driving down from Scotland to fully charged live, so I'm going to hitch a lift back up. So I'm going to look in and see if I can get my insurance to cover me to let me drive that back up, help him out so he doesn't have to do the full drive himself, so that should be good fun.
Well, as an avid fan of my channel, obviously they saw the 200-mile Twizy journey that we did.
Yes.
I wouldn't recommend it if I'm perfectly honest. It was a fun day. Don't get wrong. There were two of us in there, but good God, it took a while. It's the charging, and we need to see a chiropractor afterwards. It's not the most comfortable car in the world.
Not the most comfortable, but it's really good fun. Got to love the Twizies. They're cracking wee cars.
Could you actually survive one, do you think, for the majority of your typical commute in where you are now? The range wise, because you can charge at work, so. Yeah, I could. I really could if it came to it. Might be a little bit chilly in the winter, but. Yes, it was the depths of winter when we got the Twizy. That didn't help, if I'm honest. When you start having ice on the inside of the windscreen, you know that it's a little bit cold.
It's a little bit cold, but again, back to what we were saying earlier about people's daily commutes. Like most people, if they've not got to run a half dozen kids to school, a Twizy range-wise would would be enough, especially if you've got workplace charging. But I know many people do like the creature comforts in a car, so maybe it isn't for everybody. But
yes.
I'll get set up with James and all these Twizy adventurers. It's
yeah, it's something you do as a one-off. So you can hire the Twizy for anybody who's interested. You can actually hire Twizzies in the Lake District.
Oh, is that the Twizy flock?
Yes, they have about 6, I think. I've hired a couple in the past, and me and my brother have had races around the Lake District. They're good fun. There's a few people asking about the Tesla hire cost. Now, I've looked at this recently, and there's several companies that do it, but I know White Car have just changed their pricing. It's £129 a day now for the Model S. Now, it sounds a lot, but I'll refer back to the North Coast 500 that we did again. We saved about £120 in fuel costs because, I mean, just getting to Inverness is hard enough. And there's no fuel costs with most hire companies because they give you the card as well as the Tesla supercharging. So it's not actually as bad as people think, really, because if you do a lot of miles, you can almost make the fuel up in the daily cost. And I did notice the autopilot on the motorways was fantastic. We got to Inverness and you didn't really feel like you were driving as much. Yeah. I mean, you did drive, and we did. We didn't do this or anything like that, but you felt you didn't feel as tired. Maybe it's because you didn't have to concentrate as much.
No, definitely. But as well, like people might say, "Oh, that's expensive," but if you were to spend that much, or want to hire an equivalent supercar or something that's got that speed, you're going to be paying that, if not more.
Probably more, to be honest. Yeah, and then fuel.
And the Tesla, in my mind, would be my preference over the two, and a luxurious car to be in. So although it sounds like a high ticket price, if you compare it to, obviously compared to hiring a Ford Fiesta from Hertz for a weekend, you're paying for a luxurious and incredible car. So for some people it is a treat. It's not something you'd probably do every weekend if you were in that financial position. But yeah, it was just a great experience, and you almost feel like a VIP cruising about in one for a weekend. So yeah, no, it's definitely worthwhile for anybody that's thinking of doing a longer journey, and rather than their own car, whether it's an EV or a diesel or petrol car, to kind of treat themselves and just enjoy it.
Yeah. So I figured about £100 a day if you take fuel in. And considering it's like a £90,000 car. Yeah. That's not bad, let's face it. Hire an Aston Martin and see how much that costs you, of course. So yeah, I think dare I say it's an accessible premium car maybe, because most if you said, all right, I've saved up enough, I can afford an Aston Martin or a used Ferrari, £80,000-90,000 car. You could then, I couldn't afford to run it. But I think someone might, it'd be a massive purchase. You get a Tesla, but anyone can afford to run a Tesla because it's probably cheaper than a Ford Fiesta. Once you've got it, So once that kind of goes down into cheaper realms, the Model 3, Leafs, you can get Leafs now for about £7,000-8,000 upwards with no battery lease. Yeah. So they're becoming. The used market is arriving now, I think, where people who say, look, I've got very little money, they don't see the total cost of ownership. I find, the fuel costs and the PCP costs or the monthly costs are about the same. I find than like a £2,000-3,000 car with fuel, depending on miles, of course. But so there's quite a lot of people. Some people are thinking £129 is expensive. I guess it's all relative, isn't it? You're getting a car, a near £100,000 car for that. There's plenty of places online. Lots of people asking where from. White Car is just a website, isn't it? Just Google White Car Tesla, you'll find it.
White Car Rental, and they've got, there's one in Edinburgh I've used, but I know they've got ones all across the UK, and I've had an excellent experience with them. But obviously, I know there's other Tesla rental companies available, but my personal experience with White Car has been excellent, and it was an absolute dream weekend having a car.
Well, you have to get the Model X for the horse box, I presume. That's the only thing that's towing it. So yeah, you have to treat yourself, I suppose. Forget moving. Just get the Tesla.
Yeah, I could just live in my Tesla.
Exactly, yeah. And your horse could live behind you as well. So yeah, it's it's the luxury car. I find people look at the Tesla as an electric car and forget the fact it's a 90,000. It's a luxury car. It's expensive because of what it is, not because it's electric.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of misinformation out there, I find, when it comes to EVs in general.
I know.
Yeah. You as you know, I don't know why I'm telling you that. You obviously know that. So right, guys, we've got a couple of minutes left. I know I said 5 minutes 10 minutes ago. So last chance rather, for any questions that you've got for either of us. Thank you for doing this, by the way. I didn't really have a chance to talk before we started due to technical issues.
I know.
But yeah, we got there in the end. That's good. So yeah, hopefully I want to do more of this type of interviewing, if you like, from people across the world, because that's the hardest bit. I suppose one question that's worth asking: will you be going to Fully Charged?
I am, yes. So I'm definitely going to be there all day on the Saturday.
Yes.
And the Sunday, it'll just be whenever John and I kind of fancy heading back up the road and in his Tesla. I think we'll be there for a couple of hours on the Sunday morning before we head back up. But no, really looking forward to it, and it's going to be fantastic to meet so many people that I interact with on a regular basis via social media, and actually meet them in person. And excited to see what's actually going to be going on at the event, and different speakers, and it's not just the electric cars. There'll be a lot of renewables and all kind of things linked to electric cars. So I think it's going to be a great weekend. Yeah,
hopefully. I mean, I'll be there at Saturday as well. Of course, I think, quite frankly, anyone that does anything electrical related will probably be going. Yeah, and cause I went to the one at the Milton Keynes event, the one that launched the live thing they did about November, when they basically were trying to get sponsors. I was there for that, and I met quite a few people from James and Kate and Lewis from E-Cars, and it's kind of snowballed from that. Like you say, meeting people can then lead to other stuff. So like I say, I think just for being there with other people that are online a lot and EV evangelists, dare I say it, I think it's quite nice for that. So yeah. Right, last question. Do you have solar? Well, she lives in a flat, so I'm guessing no. I don't have solar either.
Yeah, I would love to have solar panels, and I think it's crazy that my flat doesn't, because we're very fortunate that the Dundee is quite a sunny city, but it feels like a missed opportunity. But when we do move to a house, that's something that we'll be looking at installing, and I would love to have a Zappy as well to be charging my car from the solar panels as well. Be nice to be running on pure sunshine.
Yes, it's just literally the cost. I mean, in fact, that's something again that Scotland has. Is it a 0% loan to buy a car, an EV? Does that make a difference?
So again, that's through Olive, and they've renewed it for this financial year as well. That I think you can have it over 5 or 6 years at 0% interest to be able to. It has to be a new electric car, rather than second hand. But no, that's another good incentive to get people to seriously consider electric driving as well.
Just not fair, is it? Someone has to work on that Barnett formula. I'm telling you, it's just not. It's just not right. It's not fair. I mean, the incentives for solar have got to the point where it wouldn't make financial sense for me yet. And well, quite frankly, I need to pay for the Tesla somehow. Don't I? So you got a choice. It's Model 3 solar. Last question then. What does your other half think of all this EV-ness? I mean, was it new to him before you came along, or is he on board, or is it, does he having to give his cinema room up for your solar panels, for example?
Steve loves driving the Leaf, actually. He absolutely loves driving it, and how easy it is to drive. He likes the ethos of it as well, but he's not quite on the geekiness level of myself. But no, he is allowed to drive it every now and then if I'm meeting
Allowed. I like that.
Because he is on the insurance for the other diesel 4x4, and he hates it. He'd much rather take the Leaf out than the big car. So
it does seem to be a common thing that people getting a diesel electric and don't like going back in the diesel or a petrol car in general for the noise. You know, you miss it, don't you?
Yeah. The thing is, when I'm driving the diesel, sometimes I'm like, is it supposed to make that noise? Like, I think there's something wrong with it, because it is just making a noise when I'm used to the silence, and it's just such a physical car to drive. With the Leaf's just easy. It's just point and go. So yeah, no, we both love the Leaf. No, it's great.
So he's not trying to persuade you to get a Tesla then?
Well, maybe if we sell a kidney or something, but he'll have been in the Tesla as well. But I think we'll be a while away before we might be able to afford one. The Leaf ticks all the boxes for me at the moment, so very happy driving it and excited to see what's going to be available next.
Yes, well, everything appears to be coming out in 2020. Literally everything is coming out in 2020. In fact, if I hear that one more time, I'm going to scream. You got all the Volkswagen stuff, the Tesla stuff, and everything exciting. You got the Kia Niro and a few other things coming out before then, but it's the availability. Yeah. So yeah, right. Well, we'll might as well wrap it up before we keep chatting for hours on end, because I have a habit of just waffling away on these live chats, and people don't seem to think an hour and a half YouTube channel is doable. So right, I'll again thank you for doing this.
Thank you for having me.
I'll probably see you down at the full
see you in June. It's not far away now.
No, it's, oh God, yes. Oh my God, we're in May. Right, so thanks for doing this. Thank you for everyone watching live and asking questions, and I'll see you soon, guys. So thanks for your ups, and I'll see you soon. Bye.